Hi, my name's Oliver O'Sullivan. I'm a UK immigration law advisor, and this video is about UK visa immigration routes for individuals looking to enter the UK in order to start up a business here, or to invest in a existing business here, or to open up an office of their overseas business in the UK. So there's going to be three routes that we're going to be looking at in very briefly. The first is for those looking to start up a new UK company. The second will be for those looking to become a director of an existing company. And the third route will be for those who already have a business overseas and looking to open an office or a subsidiary in the UK. So the first option we're going to be looking at is as an entrepreneur under the UK immigration rules points-based system. So this is a route for non-EU nationals to either invest in a new or existing UK company. This is a company registered in the UK. This involves an applicant to demonstrate that they have funds of £200,000 of which they're going to invest into this new company or invest in an existing UK company. They have to demonstrate that they have £200,000 in their own name, so it's their own funds, or it can be in the name of a third party who is going to gift the money. There is a genuineness test on this money that the Home Office will assess whether or not that money is indeed yours, no matter how long you've had it, and whether or not there is an intention to invest this money as you state for the visa. So with this money also becomes a credible business idea. A business plan is required by the Home Office in which you explain how this money is invested, how the business is going to work. When it comes to businesses, no real restrictions other than you can't be involved in property, so it can't be for renovation of property or for the renting of property in the UK. The Home Office really want to see a service being provided. The £200,000, once you get the visa, has to be then invested over 3 years into one or more UK companies of which you are a director. You have to also create 2 full-time employees. So this is 2 full-time positions over those 3 years, each for 12 months. At the initial visa stage, you are presenting with your business plan, business A, we will call it. So the business that you intend on investing the £200,000 in over the 3 years. At the extension stage, so after 3 years, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same business. You can then have invested in business B or business C, as many businesses as you wish, as long as you are director of that company. So it doesn't always have to follow through that the business that you say you're investing in is actually the business that you ended up investing in. It's only at the year 3 that you have to show evidence of the investments that you've made. So it's a 3-year visa, as we said. At the end of the 3 years, you then make a 2-year extension. After 5 years, then you can make an application for permanent residence. All the Home Office is really looking for in that time is investing the £200,000 into the company, not just as a cash amount in the bank account. So that's £200,000 that's being used or has been spent by the company. At the 2-year extension, they're looking for that, and they're looking for the 2 full-time employees. The 5-year point, they're looking back at the investment, and they're also looking at the creation of 2 more full-time positions for 12 months each. The entrepreneur visa doesn't allow you to take employment for other people. You have to remain a director of one or more limited companies. With you making this application can be your partner and or any child dependents who get the same length of visa as you do, with no restrictions on work or study. This visa can either be applied for outside the UK coming in, or you can switch from being a student in the UK or for being on a worker visa, a tier 2 visa, working for somebody else. There is also another option as a graduate entrepreneur, which we'll look at in the next slide. So graduate entrepreneur is an entrepreneur route for people who are presently or have been in universities in the UK, in UK universities which have permission to then endorse individuals under this program. Part of being endorsed means going to your university with a business proposal. The university will then endorse under the Home Office regulations, and then you are then able to go and make this application. The graduate entrepreneur doesn't involve any capital like the regular entrepreneur route, so you don't have to have £200,000 at this route at this time. You get 1 year on this visa, and it's a year that's unrestricted work-wise, unlike the entrepreneur route. But it really is 1 year to sort of get your company up and going. The great thing about the graduate entrepreneur route is it may just be a year, but when it comes to extending beyond the year, you can switch into the entrepreneur visa that we saw in the previous slide. But instead of £200,000, you're only required to show £50,000, which is a much lower capital amount. And it does help really if your business is one that doesn't need that much money being injected into it. And it also helps with credibility. It's a lot more credible for people to show £50,000 is theirs and will be theirs to spend than £200,000. Again, partner and or child dependents can be included in the application as well. So the third route we'll then look at is for people who have businesses overseas, whose business will remain overseas in terms of headquarters, but they're looking to open a UK office or a subsidiary of that business. The applicant, the person who gets the visa, has to be someone within the company as a senior employee, generally not the director of that business, because this person cannot be a majority shareholder in the company. They can be a shareholder, but not a majority shareholder. When it comes to evidencing that to the Home Office, we're presenting the accounts for the last financial year of the company to the Home Office, so it can't either be somebody who has sold a lot of shares in the last year in order to become a minority shareholder either. This visa is more about the credibility of the business overseas and how it can open a UK office or a subsidiary, and that really goes down to how big the business is overseas, what its turnover is, how many staff it's employing, whether or not it's a move that seems credible to the Home Office. Once granted, the applicant then has to open a bank account for the company and register with Companies House. From then on, to get an extension or to remain on this visa, that applicant then has to make sure they have evidence of new business that's being made in the applicant's name. So any contracts, invoices must clearly be linked back to that applicant. Like the entrepreneur, you get 3 years initially and then extension at 2 years based on your employers need to keep on employing you in this capacity. After 5 years, there's permanent residence as well. And again, partner and or child dependents are included in this application. So once a company has been opened here, or a company has been, an overseas company has opened an office here, another question that people sometimes have is, can other members of the company perhaps, or people from overseas, then apply as an entrepreneur by investing in the business that's been started by the sole representative, the office that's been opened by the sole representative of an overseas business? In order to answer this question, it's important to know that the sole representative at all stages of their visa, up until permanent residence, have to show that all shares in the office or the subsidiary of a company are owned by the parent company. The entrepreneur, in order to get their visa and to get the extension of their visa, needs to show the investment of their £200,000 or the £50,000 if they've come via a graduate entrepreneur, and they have to have made the investment as a director. So that's where the issue really is, whether or not the entrepreneur has invested by way of director's loan and not become a shareholder, or if they've invested in way of share capital and become a shareholder, Obviously, if they've become a shareholder in the sole representative's UK business, then the sole representative is failing under his route. If, however, the entrepreneur has become a director of the UK company and meets his entrepreneur requirements, and he does not own any shares in the company, then the sole representative is also meeting his requirements too, and therefore this becomes a possibility. Aside from somebody investing in the business and gaining a visa that way, also there's the option of the company applying for a Home Office sponsorship license, which is relatively straightforward, for something called Tier 2, which is skilled workers who are sponsored to work in the UK. Once you have a sponsorship license, then you can employ non-EU nationals under a Tier 2 route, which simply requires you to have sponsorship under the right job type with the right salary. But it's a way of bringing in either a skilled non-EU workforce from overseas, maybe who are working for the overseas business, or if a company has been set up in the UK and looking to employ people from a particular non-EU country, this is how they would go about that. But there's much more details to be discussed on Tier 2, which we won't discuss in this video now. So if you want any more information about any of what has been discussed in this video, it's been discussed very briefly. I'd be really happy to have further discussions about each option. My name is Oliver O'Sullivan. You can directly contact me via YouTube, or just leave a comment below and I can contact you. Thank you very much.